Good Thursday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversations Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Well, we made it over the hump, and we're in the home stretch toward the weekend. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Thursday. We have the truth of the day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich in today's Entertainment Spotlight. You've been part of my conversation with Dr. Keith Rawlings of Veep Healthcare, discussing the current state of health equity in the U.S. Enjoy today's program. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Thursday headlines. In national news, U.S. faces a double coronavirus surge as Omicron advances. The new Omicron coronavirus mutant speeding around the world may bring another wave of chaos, threatening to further stretch hospital workers already struggling with the surge of Delta cases and upend holiday plans for the second year in a row. The White House on Wednesday insisted there is no need for a lockdown because vaccines are widely available and appear to offer protection against the worst consequences of the virus. But even if Omicron proves milder on the whole than Delta, it may disarm some of the life-saving tools available and put immune-compromised and elderly people at particular risk as it begins a rapid assault on the United States. Based on specimens collected last week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said Omicron accounted for about 3% of genetically sequenced coronaviruses nationally. Percentages vary by region, with the highest 13% in the New York, New Jersey area. But Harvard experts said these are likely underestimates because Omicron is moving so fast that surveillance attempts can't keep up. Globally, more than 75 countries have reported confirmed cases of Omicron. In the United States, 36 states have detected the variant. Meanwhile, Delta is surging in many places, with hotspots in New England and the upper Midwest. The 5 states with the highest 2-week rolling average of cases per 100,000 people are New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Michigan, Minnesota, and Vermont. Universities are abruptly closing classrooms during finals week, with infections multiplying at a fast rate. The NBA is postponing games, and the NFL had its worst 2-day outbreak since the start of the pandemic, with dozens of players infected. Scientists around the world are racing to understand Omicron, which has a large number of worrisome mutations in important regions of its genetic structure that could affect how well it spreads from person to person. How quickly the number of cases doubles, known as doubling time, can give a preview of what the disease burden could be in a few weeks. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky said Wednesday that early data suggests Omicron is more transmissible than Delta, with a doubling time of about 2 days. The White House Coronavirus Response Coordinator said on Wednesday the U.S. has the tools to fight the virus, including Omicron, and there is no need to lock down. In more national news, Chauvin pleads guilty to federal charge in Floyd's death. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin pleaded guilty on Wednesday to a federal charge of violating George Floyd's civil rights, averting a trial, but likely extending the time he is already spending behind bars on a state conviction. Chauvin was convicted this spring of state murder and manslaughter charges for pinning his knee against Floyd's neck during a May 25, 2020 arrest. As the man said he couldn't breathe, Chauvin was sentenced to 22.5 years in that case. The federal charge alleged that Chauvin deprived Floyd of his rights by kneeling on his neck as he was handcuffed and not resisting. Chauvin appeared in person Wednesday for the change of plea hearing in an orange short-sleeved prison shirt and was led into and out of the court in handcuffs. He said guilty, Your Honor, to confirm his pleas in Floyd's death and an unrelated 2017 case, and acknowledged that he was guilty of the acts alleged. With parole and presuming good behavior, Chauvin is expected to actually serve about 15 years of his sentence behind bars. In more national news, Bell Hooks, groundbreaking feminist thinker, dies at age 69. Bell Hooks, the groundbreaking author, educator, and activist whose explorations of how race, gender, economics, and politics were intertwined, made her among the most influential thinkers of her time. In a statement issued through William Morrow Publishers, Hooks' family announced that she died Wednesday in Kentucky, home to the Bell Hooks Center at Berea College. Additional details were not immediately available. In more national news, evictions on the rise months after federal moratorium end. The federal ban, along with a mix of state and federal moratoriums, is credited with keeping millions in their homes during the pandemic and preventing the spread of the coronavirus. There was a brief lull in evictions after the ban ended, but housing advocates say they're on the rise in many parts of the country, though numbers remain below pre-pandemic levels due to the infusion of federal rental assistance and other pandemic-related assistance like expanded child tax credit payments that are also set to end. And finally, in entertainment news, Dr. Oz show ending next month as Star runs for Senate. U.S. Senate candidate Dr. Oz will end his Dr. Oz syndicated talk show next month, and producers will replace it with a cooking show featuring his daughter. The Dr. Oz show, in its 13th season, will air its last episode on January the 14th, Sony Pictures Television announced this week. The heart surgeon and talk show host is running for the U.S. Senate in Pennsylvania. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's our time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, it's all yours.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Let food be your medicine. Father of medicine, Hippocrates. Food is fuel. Whatever you eat and drink has a powerful effect on your ability to focus, have mental clarity, and create a good mood for your day. Some foods can zap your energy, while other foods may give you a great deal of energy. You cannot go by one food chart for every person. Some people have food allergies, while others are immune. Balance is always a must with food. Eating too much of any food, even a good food, will throw you off balance. Become aware of what you drink. Carbonated beverages are not good for any part of your body. It is not just about the sugar content, it is about the carbonation. As you age, different foods will affect your mood and your body differently. Listen to your body and let it guide you. Today, begin to eat properly. Listen to your body. Enjoy the day.
We are part of my conversation coming up with Dr. Keith Rawlings of ViV Healthcare in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us as you're listening to Conversations Daily News. For Conversations Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. Dr. Keith Rawlings of ViV Healthcare joined me recently on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the current state of health equity in the United States. Here's a bit of our conversation.
So let's talk about, first of all, where we are when it comes to the current state of health equity in the United States, Dr. Rawlings. I mean, what are some of the things that this report found that you could describe for us?
Well, unfortunately, the current state of equity in healthcare in the United States is that it is inequitable. For long periods of times, we have noted that the realities of who has bear the burden of many of the inequities in the U.S. system have been largely concentrated in poor communities, geographically more rural communities, individuals who are black, brown, of different genders, particularly women and individuals who are seeing a overburden of stigmatization. And as you mentioned, COVID has truly exacerbated these things. Healthcare disparities are avoidable. They're unfair, and they tend to concentrate, as I said, in particular groups of people. But it's not just in populations. It is also things like income stability and food and housing and neighborhoods. And where you live has a big impact upon what is going on. One of the things that this report attempts to do is to understand how can we begin to look at, from a different lens, diseases that have been defined by inequities, HIV, substance abuse, mental health issues, and its impact upon COVID. And then the idea of, can we prioritize things like prevention and mental health, adapting long-term investment strategies to better develop measures of success.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversations Daily News. We'll have you guys on tomorrow to wrap up this week. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.